what's going on YouTube? This is Garrett DJ Deuce. Got another pickup video for you guys. Had a pretty good week this week compared to last week. Last week the weather was pretty bad, so I was only able to squeeze in about 1 or 2 days of hunting, and that made up for the entire week. This week the weather was much nicer to us. The roads were a lot more clear, so I was able to squeeze in a few more days of hunting, including a Saturday. So got some pretty good deals this week, some pawn shop pickups, some awesome thrift store finds, and a couple of pretty good Craigslist deals as well. I'm currently in talks with a collector in Denver right now to do a trade. It involves a PS4, which I got really cheap, and it's something in his collection that's not commonly found in the wild around here, at least. Mostly on eBay, and I've never seen one pop up on Craigslist, so when this popped up, I had to jump on it. So luckily he was interested in next-gen consoles. I'm gonna do a trade for a PS4, but I'll get into more details about that later on in the video. So let's get started with the pickups. Alright, so we're gonna start with a $40 purchase I did on store credit at a game store called Game City in Monument. I have a pretty decent amount of trade credit on their books, so I used $40 of it, and with that $40 I got these 4 games. I got Street Fighter II Collection for the PS1, Resident Evil Survivor, Ephemeral Fantasia for the PS2, and finally, Zatch Bell Momondo Fury. These are all titles that I do not have in my PlayStation 1 and 2 collection, so when I saw these, I had to grab them. So I paid $40 for all of this. Alright, next up, I'm just going to go all over the place with this stuff. Not going to go in any particular order. These are games that I found at the Ark off of Austin Bluffs, and that particular location's been spitting out some awesome titles at great deals. So let's get started. I paid a total of $13.41 for all of this. So on the PSP, I got Cabela's North American Adventures for $3.99. I don't know if you can see the sticker on that. I got Bloody Roar Extreme for the Xbox for $2.99. Superman Man of Steel for $2.99, and blue tags were half off, so this was actually only $1.50. And got a copy of Pacific Liberator for the Nintendo Wii. It's a Zoo title. This was $1.99. Finally, I got a clear blue PS2 controller, and this was only $1.99. Just to kind of show you what kind of deals the Ark puts out. It's an awesome thrift store. Love going there. Some Arks are fairly priced, some Arks are ridiculously priced. So you got to kind of catch some of these guys slipping. Alright, from another Ark, I picked up a PS1 multi-tap. I've got a couple of these for the PSX, but I've never seen one for the PS1. So when I saw this, I had to grab it, and this was $4.99 at another Ark. Alright. Let's see, what else do we have here? Got these 3 Dreamcast games for $2 out the door from another pawn shop, and it's Jeremy McGrath Supercross 2000 for the Dreamcast, Ducati World Racing Challenge, and finally Hydro Thunder. $2, no tax, out the door for all these, and these are all in really good shape. Alright, from another Ark, got a bunch of good games from there as well. Let's see, some Dreamcast games popped up over there, so I grabbed them all because they were pretty decently priced. So let's start off with this loose PSP game, and I believe this is Ren and Stimpy, the first season. This is a UMD movie, and it was 99 cents. Mario Kart 64 for the Nintendo 64 for $1.99. I got Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. This was a blue tag, so this was only $1. So it was $1.99, but half off, $1. Each of these Dreamcast games were $1.99 a piece, and it's MDK2. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Sydney 2000, I believe this is a Winter Olympics game. Air Force Delta. And finally, the Sega Dreamcast web browser. So those were $1.99 each. Okay, and these PS1 games were priced at $1.99, but blue tag, so these were only $1 a piece, and they're all complete. So I've got Golden Nugget, Sammy Sosa High Heat Baseball, and finally Snowcross Championship Racing, $1 a piece. All right. Stuff here. Okay. All right, so I got a couple of pawn shop pickups. These games were $3 a piece. So for $3, I got Music Maker Deluxe Edition for the PS2, Crimson Tears, Mission Impossible Operation Surma, Knockout Kings 2001, Phantasy Star Universe Ambition of the Illuminus, and finally Nano Breaker. So I got all these for $3 a piece. Why did I pay $3 for this title? Most of these titles here make up for that difference. So usually I only pay 50 cents to $1 for sports titles, but there's some pretty decent titles in this little stack, so I didn't mind paying $3 for one sports game. All right, let's do this one first. All right, from Independent Records, which I rarely go to because their prices are like ridiculous. I finally decided to go in there, you know, randomly one day and just see what they had. So I paid a total of $25.77 for this whole stack. All right, first off, we got TV Superstars for the PlayStation 3. This was on sale for $1.98. I got Micro Machines for the Sega Genesis. This is like a $20 title, but they priced it at $4. They probably thought this was a sports type of game and just marked it like really low. But this one, I actually had 4 points on my card with them. Independent Records has a card where if you buy stuff, you get points, and then if you get like 4 points, then whatever's $4, you get half off. If you have like 16 points, whatever you have in your stack that's $16, you get half off. And you earn points on top of that once you buy it. So I only got this for $2. Some major slippage on their part on this copy of Pikmin for the GameCube. They marked it at $11.99, but it's charting pretty high. It's like about 30 bucks on eBay average sold listings. And then finally, a copy of Seven Samurai. This I got for $8. So a total of $25.77 for all that stuff. And there's a receipt for you guys that want to see proof. All right, so we'll do one wicked pickup from an ARC. All these games were pretty much normal priced. There was no blue tags in these, but some of the titles in here are awesome. So let's start off with White Knight Chronicles for the PS3 that I got for $2.99. Got Unreal Championship for the original Xbox for 99 cents. Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball, and I got this for 99 cents. Now here's where it starts getting fun. The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind Game of the Year Edition. This is the gold cover version. $1.99. Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3. This is like a $75 game, and I picked it up for $1.99. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 for the original Xbox, and I paid $1.99 for that as well. Now this is the same ARC that I got the Bloody Roar Extreme and a Superman game for dirt cheap as well, which makes me suspect that there might be some more good titles just hiding in the back waiting to get like sorted out and stuck in the game cage. So I'm going to try and stop by there as often as I can and see if anything else pops up, but some awesome titles in here for dirt cheap too. So pretty happy with those. Alright. Let's do some eBay grabs. I'm not sure how much I paid for these, but I'm not even going to reference them, but they were pretty cheap. I normally don't buy on eBay unless it's cheap or something that I absolutely must have, and even then it still has to be cheap. So I got a copy of Metal Saga for the PS2, and a copy of Winback 2 Project Poseidon. These are from eBay. Fellow member of my Facebook channel, which covers like retro games and scores and stuff like that, she gave me a copy of Disney Golf. I sold her a PS2 Slim with a ton of games, so she gave me this one because she wasn't going to play it. Disney Golf. Alright. Picked up these two games from another ARC. One was half off, one was regular price. The first one is Breath of Fire Dragon Quarter. I paid $4.99 for that. And Rallycross for the PS1. This was $4.99 but half off, so it only costed me $2.50. Still kind of pricey for a sports game, but whatever. Alright. This was from an Easy Pawn. They had a couple of GameCube games that just came out, and so they weren't priced. There's in the back it just says $0, so I was kind of scared that they were going to overprice these based on one title that's in here. But for $5 a piece, this costed me $10.74 in total. I got a copy of Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights for the GameCube, and Super Mario Sunshine for the GameCube. So both of these were $4.99. Alright. Picked these up from another pawn shop. Got a very clean copy of GoldenEye for the Nintendo 64 for $5. And then I got these games for $1 a piece. It was Gran Turismo for the PS1, Tiger Woods PGA Tour 2000, Medal of Honor Underground, and finally NASCAR Racing. So let's cover. This is one of the Craigslist bundles that I got for pretty cheap. And here's the ad for that. So there are a total of 7 games here, and they're all sealed, factory sealed. So I paid a total of $30 for everything here. And these are all sealed, by the way. So I got a copy of Pixel Junk Monsters, SOCOM US Navy SEALs Fireteam Bravo 2. And what's interesting is there's like, I don't know if this is an actual factory seal. This might have been a reseal because there's like a bunch of things that kind of stuck in the back side of the cover, which makes it a little bit more heavier. So I'm not sure what's up with that. But I got the Patapon and Loco Roco Dual Pack, Buzz Master Quiz, and Final Fantasy 1 and 2. Finally, Fat Princess Fistful of Cake. And these are all sealed. So $30 for this whole thing. Just got a bunch of stuff to cover this week. All right. This was at another Easy Pawn pawn shop. I paid $5 for this game, and it's Dante's Inferno Divine Edition. It's got the sleeve and all that. So in the last video, I covered a bunch of like unlabeled, you know, anything that wasn't priced was like $2 for PS3 games. Unfortunately, that sale ended, so now it's like anything that's unlabeled is $5. So I paid $5 for this. They need to run that sale more often because there's still tons of PS3 games there that are not priced. And if they want to move all that stuff, they should just, you know, price slash them and just get rid of them. I'm pretty sure they only paid like $1 or something for each of them. But anyways, $5 for that. All right, this was from a Cash America pawn shop. I paid $2 for this game, and when I looked it up, it was like 15, 20, 25 average sold listings, and it's Madden 12, the Hall of Fame edition. This is a little sleeve cover. So I paid $2 for that. Here's the printout. The top item is the game, and then the bottom dollar item was a DVD that my stepson purchased, so that's why that's on that ticket. All right. One of the newer Goodwills that opened up a couple of months ago found a Build-A-Bear Workshop, a friend for all seasons for $1.99. And a wireless adapter for an Xbox 360 for $2.99. This will be my recouper. I'm gonna flip this and make some of my money back from what I bought this week. This is actually, I can probably sell this on Amazon for like $40 to $45. So really happy to find this only at $3. All right, from another Goodwill, which was close to my work, picked up a couple of items, and this costed me $4.29 total. So I picked up a Texas Instruments TI-83 Plus Silver Edition calculator for $1.99. This is also going to be a recouper. Forget how much these calculators go for, but I sell them pretty easily on Amazon. So this will definitely be used to recoup some funds as well. And I got a copy of Monster House for the PS2. This was only $1.99. All right. There's a pawn shop that's off of South Academy called Acme Super Pawn, I believe, or just Acme Pawns. The manager there is kind of a jerk. He eBays everything, but there's a woman there that always helps me. She's like this tall woman, and I bought a slot machine from there once, and So ever since I bought that, she's been hooking me up with deals. But whenever I deal with the manager, he always tries to price stuff at eBay prices. So whenever I go there, I try to look for her and ask her for help. And it definitely pays off when I do. So I got a bunch of Atari 2600 games plus a 5200 game for 50 cents a piece. So let's start with Midnight Magic, Riddle of the Sphinx, Real Sports Soccer, Boxing, Haunted House, Real Sports Baseball, and finally Joust for the 5200. I think I already have Joust, but these were only 50 cents a piece, so I picked out the titles that I didn't think I had already for the 2600. Alright. Tons of Dreamcast games there too. So I picked up a bunch of PS1 games for $3 a piece and a bunch of Dreamcast games for $3 a piece. So we'll start off with the PS1 games. Medieval, Twisted Metal 3, Fisherman's Bass, and Spyro Year of the Dragon. This will be my flipper. I'm going to recoup that. I'm going to sell that and Twisted Metal 3 to get some of my money back. Alright, so now on to the Dreamcast games. Some pretty good titles in here for $3 each. Tokyo Extreme Racer 2, Sports Jam, Speed Devils, and finally, Capcom vs. SNK. $3 a piece for each of these, and the PS1 titles. Alright. The following day, which was yesterday, I picked those up on Friday. So on Saturday, I went back to that same pawn shop, saw the same lady. She had mentioned that there were going to be some PS2 titles coming out of pawn. So I decided to make a trip down there a little bit after they opened to see what they had. So for $3, I got these 4 PS2 titles. Xenosaga Episode 2, Wild Arms 3, Odin Sphere, and finally a sealed copy of Disgaea 2. This is Cursed Memories. It's factory sealed. So definitely going to keep this in my collection. I already have one loose, so now I have one to play and one to stay. But $3 a piece for these titles. Awesome RPGs. I also picked up a loose copy of Pandemonium for 50 cents for the PS1. And finally, Watermelon Red N64 controller. This is an official controller. The joystick is still tight. $5. Now this is where the manager was kind of a jerk, because when she was ringing me up, he kind of like went over there and kind of peeked and stuff and said, "What you got there?" And she was just a bunch of PS2 games and this controller. And so he was like, "How much are you selling them for?" And she told him, and he was kind of like giving her that look like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you just did that." Which is understandable because he owns the place, but still, I mean, it's like the deal was already done, so that there's no point in arguing about it in front of me, you know? So he looked this up and he was like, "See, these are like, you know, 10 to 25 bucks on eBay all day." So I was pretty PO'd because it made me feel uncomfortable, you know, like they weren't going to give me the deal, but still, you know, she gave me the deal, and I'm hoping that she doesn't get in trouble for that. So we'll see if they still, if she still hooks it up whenever I see her. But $5 for this. All right. Let's cover this. At one of the ARCs on North Academy, PS2 bundle. It's got the remote control, one controller, all the hookups. Looks like it's got a memory card, and the price on this was only $15. $14.99. So I already, I hope it works. I haven't tested it yet, but as soon as I do, I'll let you guys know whether it worked or not. So hopefully it does work. Everything looks pretty clean. I don't even know if there's a bonus game in there or not, but we'll see. So 15 bucks for this bundle. All right. From the same arc where I got the Dragon Ball Z, Budokai Tenkaichi, and the Bloody Roar and all that good, and the Marvel vs. Capcom. This was a few days before that happened. I picked up 3 games, and I paid a total of $13.97 for all of them. White was half off that week, so one of these titles I got for half off. So let's start off with the half off title. I've got Need for Speed Most Wanted Black Edition. This was $3.99, half off, so it was only $2. Got a copy of Army Men Sarge's Heroes 2. I don't have this title for the PlayStation 2. That was $4.99. And finally, iToy Play 2. I picked this up for... This was priced at $7.99 originally, but it's just the iToy. There's no game in there, so I asked them if they could knock off some, discount on it. So, which is the override? So I paid $5.99 for this. They knocked off two whole dollars. Anyway, so I've never seen this one. I don't even see it listed on the PS2 Master List as a bundle, but very glad to get this. I have an extra copy of this game, so I'm just going to pop it in there and complete it. Alright. Alright, this one is from another Acme Pawn. This one was in the downtown area. They had a bargain bin box, a little cardboard box, and it was just like, make an offer on anything that's in the box. So I spotted this ASCIIware fight stick for the PS1, and I made an offer of $5 for it, and they took it. I paid, I believe, $6 for this Silent Hill Homecoming game for the PS3. It's in a generic cover, but the disc is in awesome shape and everything. Silent Hill Homecoming. $6 for that. And then all these discs here I paid $1 for. Spyro, Year of the Dragon. Drakengard. Summoner 2. And finally, Silent Hill 1 and 2. So these 2 games are going to be recoupers, as well as the Spyro game. So once I sell these, I should be able to make some more money back from what I spent this past week. Alright, getting down to the wire here. Alright. So from another ARC, which is close to where I work, I picked up these 2 items for $10.74. One of them's a recouper, and one of them's an obscure N64 title I've never seen out in the wild. This one is Charlie Blast's Territory. That was $5. And finally, this Rex PC Companion with docking station. This is not game related, but this is a recouper. I looked these up, and it's about $20, $25 on eBay sold listings. So I'm going to be selling this to get some of my money back as well. And that's pretty much it. So I paid $4.99 for this. I'm going to resell it for probably $20 and make some money back from what I spent. All right. Let's cover these. These are also non-video game related, but awesome, awesome movies on Laserdisc format. I'm a huge Laserdisc fan. I've got 3 of them. I've got one in several rooms here downstairs, and a ton of Laserdisc movies, and mostly from the 90s and whatnot. And I'm also expecting a huge shipment of about 92 of them from someone who actually purchased them for me at a thrift store in Tennessee. So for 92 movies, I paid a total of $70 plus he only wanted $10 for his troubles to pick them up for me, and whatever shipping is going to end up being. I think it's about 75 pounds, so it should be one flat rate box and a smaller one or something, but can't wait to get those. But these Laserdisc titles were priced differently. So this stack here was $2.99 a piece. So I got Out of Sight, awesome movie. This is another awesome movie, Backdraft. The Godfather Part 3, and another copy of The Godfather Sealed, Part 3. Blade. And finally, Kevin Costner is Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. So this stack here was $2.99 each Laserdisc. And then everything in this stack was priced at $1.99. This is The Godfather Part 2, Dr. No, Octopussy, From Russia with Love, The Spy Who Loved Me, You Only Live Twice, Diamonds Are Forever, A View to a Kill. This was probably one of the better Bond movies because I love Christopher Walken. He's an excellent villain, and Grace Jones was in this one too. So, View to a Kill. Do or Die, featuring Pat Morita. I guess this movie's about two models who want to get revenge on somebody, so they hire Pat Morita to teach them the skills to pay the bills. All right, Boiling Point. The Russia House. Above the Law, featuring Steven Seagal. Alright, and this is a Take 5 AV laser sampler disc. It's got a bunch of samplers of movies, classic movies, looks like music videos, some specialty videos like National Geographic, and some cartoons. There's actually some full-length... There's some full-length movies in here, as far as the cartoons and the National Geographic type movies, but pretty cool to have. Alright, License to Kill. And finally, Dances with Wolves. So each one of these laser discs were $1.99 a piece. Slowly building on that collection. Alright. Let's talk about this PS4 now. So I have a contact who somehow gets these PS4s for very cheap. I'm just gonna say under $200. So I picked this up for under $200. It's a brand new 500 gigabyte PS4. And the reason why I got this is because I'm gonna be using this plus a PS4 game to trade for something that I'm not going to talk about just yet, because there's this curse that hangs over my head where if I mention something, or a possible deal and what exactly it is, it never goes through. So I'm not going to say anything, only that it involves this PS4 to trade with a game. And I paid less than $200 for this, and the game I got dirt cheap. So what I'm picking up is worth way more, probably, I don't know, way more than the actual cost of this PS4. So brand new, just to kind of give you a clue on its value. It's not Earthbound, it's not anything like Super Nintendo related, it's actually not even Nintendo related at all, but it's something that I've been looking for a long time. Not going to say what it is yet. You'll have to wait till the next video, but I'm gonna pick it up on Wednesday. So anyways, so that's the mystery, or part of the mystery behind this PS4 and what I'm going to be using it for. All right. I think that pretty much is almost it. Went to the flea market yesterday, and there were only 7 sellers there, and I picked up only 2 games. I only stayed there for like a half an hour. So I got Resident Evil 5 for the 360 for $1. And finally, I got the Game Party in Motion Connect game for $2. All the pawn shop that I went to afterwards where all those RPGs made up for the the rest of the day. Plus, later on that in the afternoon yesterday, I picked up some other things too. So, flea market is always slow during like the snow, cold, windy seasons. So I can't wait for the weather to finally clear up and we get some summer weather, so that flea market season starts in full gear again. All right, so let's talk about this box that's been sitting next to me the whole time. I picked up a Nintendo bundle off of Craigslist for $40, and here's the ad for that. This bundle included 11 games, and when I got there, she found 5 more games. Actually, it was 12 games in total, and she found 5 more games when I picked it up. When I saw the ad, it was like 30 minutes old, but I don't count 30 minutes. I subtract 15 minutes because it takes 15 minutes for you to post, for the ad to actually appear on Craigslist, and that's about 15 minutes. So in actuality, the ad was only 15 minutes old as far as when someone actually first saw it. So my chances were still slim because it was an awesome price. It was $40 for this entire bundle that I'm going to show you. And when I called her and left her a message, actually I emailed her with my phone number, and I said, please call me. I'm very interested in your bundle. If it's available, I work downtown and I'm literally only about 10 minutes from you. I can come pick it up anytime. So I was just crossing my fingers at that point, and I got a phone call, and it was the woman that was selling all the stuff, and she said, I still have it. I'm pretty firm on the price because her ad said or best offer, but she changed her mind because she got tons of emails about it. But I guess I was like the first one to contact her, which is surprising because it was like 15 minutes old, and it's pretty competitive here in the Springs. Anyhow, so I got her address, went to the bank, pulled out some money, and when I got there, she said, I found 5 more games that I'm just gonna throw in the bundle. And I was like, sweet, okay, cool. And then she kind of like asked me out of curiosity, she was like, are these worth more than what I'm selling it for? And I was like, at that point I was like, I have no idea. She put me on the spot, so I just said, I have no idea. I'm suffering a midlife crisis, and this is all going in my collection. So she was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then so she took the $40 and I took off. So let's start with the games. She found these games later. No. Which are the games that she found later? Let's see. Okay. So these are the 5 games that she found, during that 30 minutes that lapsed between the first contact and when I actually picked it up. It's Stealth, Loops, Top Gun, Target Renegade, and Heavy Shredding. So these are the 5 games that she found that she tossed in for free. And these are the games that came with the bundle. So we'll start off with, Tetris. Almost every Nintendo has Tetris. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Anticipation. Skate or Die 2. Little Nemo Dream Master. And then we'll get to the good titles next. Actually, we'll start with Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. Alright, and then here are the titles that were in the picture that caught my eye and made the bundle worth the $40. No haggling at all. Punch-Out! Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! Castlevania Super Mario Brothers 2, Super Mario Brothers 3, and finally, the game that caught my eye when I first saw the ad, Mega Man 3. So, this game and probably Punch-Out pays for the entire lot. Everything else is free. So aside from the games, it also came with the Zapper, AV and Power Brick official Power Brick, not an aftermarket. 4 controllers, and finally, a pretty decent system. You know, hardly any discolorations. It's got all the stickers on it. So, an NES system. So this entire bundle cost $40. So, as I said, I didn't even think I had a chance at getting this because, you know, the ad was 15 minutes old, and there are tons of collectors and resellers in the Colorado Springs area. So, I really didn't think I had a chance. It was 50-50 at that point. So I was really, really happy when she called me back. As a matter of fact, when she called me back, I was at work, and I kind of ducked into the, you know, the conference room to take the call and make the arrangements, get her address and whatnot. And after I got off the phone, I was like, "Score!" like really loud, you know. And so I went, you know, in the main bubble where we all work, and one of my coworkers said, "You know, what'd you grab this time on Craigslist?" I was like, I started laughing. I was like, "Why?" He's like, "I heard you say score." And I told him, you know, I scored on this awesome $40 Nintendo bundle, and I'll show it to him later on. So, very, very happy to get this, especially for the price that it was listed at. And that is pretty much it for all the pickups. Stay tuned for next week's video where I'll get into more depth of that PS4 trade. I'll show you what it is in the next video. I'm really excited about it, but I just want to be hush-hush because there's, you know, 3 days in between when the deal actually happens. I tried to meet up with the guy today, but he had some plans. We were doing all this negotiation yesterday as far as, you know, what he wanted to trade on, you know, what he wanted to trade on my end for what he had. And so I was pretty bummed out when I told him, you know, can I pick it up tomorrow, and which is today, and he was like, I wasn't expecting tomorrow. I was expecting more of like Thursday, and I was like, what? That's like 5 days from now. It seems like 2 weeks. You know, that's how excited I am about this thing that I'm trading for. So he finally said, you know, will Wednesday work better? And I was like, okay, sure, fine. You know, Wednesday's fine. So it's only 3 days, and it's about an hour-and-a-half drive. So it's well worth it, though. So when you guys see it, you know, you'll know right then and there that it was kind of worth all this anticipation and waiting and the drive as well. So anyways, that's about it for this week. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And as you can see, I've kind of cleaned up the Nintendo room a bit. So I'm going to be filming part 2 finally. I keep saying that, but I never get it done because I'm always busy. But I'm going to be home all day today, so hopefully that'll give me some time to shoot footage of my Nintendo game room, and I'll complete part 2 of the 2-part series involving my revamped game room. So anyways, happy hunting to all you guys out there. Hope you guys are finding some great stuff out there. Again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and happy hunting.